This is Alexandra Palace, a landmark of North London and the home of the first regular public television broadcasts in the UK. In this series, I'm going to be building it out of Lego. Starting here, on top of the East Tower, with the 200-foot transmitter mast. Recreating this intricate and delicate steel structure in Lego is going to be a real challenge. I have a design, but no idea how sturdy it will be or whether it will stand up at all. That's exactly why I'm starting here, since it's the most uncertain part of the whole model. So I've built the very top of the tower to act as a base, and added some supports for the mast, using hinges to give me an angle. We're going to be making the mast out of these bar ladder pieces, with cross beams made out of plates and tiles with bar holders. So that's our first cross beam, and we can start clipping the structure together, using the bar ladder pieces on the outside and as cross supports. Adding a few more bar holders to the supports at the top of the tower, and we can put the whole thing together. So the shape of the structure is starting to come together, and the next thing to do is add some more cross supports between that central support and the inner bar ladder pieces. We'll make those using just short bar pieces with bar holders on each end, and another bar to connect those to the central support. And when we straighten that up, it's taking shape nicely, and once everything's connected together, is also reasonably sturdy, which is a great start. So let's carry on building up. Creating another cross piece a bit shorter than the first to give us the angle of the sides of the transmitter mast. So you can see there's a bit of strain on that cross piece, it's been bent slightly out of shape. That's the issue with this kind of building. We're not just using bricks or tiles on a base plate, so we're kind of off the grid. We've got lots of freely rotating pieces that can be put at any angle. And that means rather than using Pythagorean triples or some simple trigonometry to figure out our angles, we've kind of just been going by trial and error. So trying a bit more trial and error here to see if I can get a slightly different offset, a slightly different angle or length for that cross piece so that it's not put under that kind of strain. Trying various things here to give me just one plate offset in one direction or another, going up and down one rung on those ladder pieces, but none of this quite got to something that felt like it worked any better than what we started with. So eventually decided to leave this piece for now, carry on with the rest of the structure, see if there are other similar issues further up. So cracking on with the rest of the structure, making each cross beam shorter than the last to keep those angled sides getting closer together, and using progressively smaller supporting struts between them and the sides as well. And the rest of it comes together quite nicely as I designed it in LEGO Studio. No more nasty surprises, particularly with pieces being put under strain or kind of bent a little bit because the angles don't quite work out. The rest of it comes together pretty well, and the only real issue I have here is that I'm running out of vertical height for my overhead camera, but we can get all the way to the top of this section of the transmitter mast. So this is where I've got to. Looking pretty good in terms of the overall shape, but we've got the issue with this slightly illegal crossbeam that's put under some strain, and there's a slight weak point in the middle of the bottom crossbeam as well. So let's deal with this one first. So rather than changing the geometry of the whole design, what I'm going to do is just allow this crossbeam to bend a little bit, but in a safer and less illegal way, adding a centre plate that has a couple of bar holder ends that can act as hinges and allow the whole beam to flex a little bit in a way that's safer and not putting strain on the Lego pieces. And even with that extra flexibility, once it's all clipped together, the whole thing feels pretty sturdy again. The final thing to do is just address that slight weak point in the middle of the bottom beam by rebuilding it with a longer plate in the centre. And with that, we've got a good base for our transmitter mast and can start building the top part of it. And here's the completed transmitter mast. It's just under 70 centimetres or a little over 2 feet tall, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I do want to add some Lego gribblies, things like antennae or dishes, but I'm going to leave that for now. I proved this design works structurally, and I'm actually going to go all the way to the other end of the palace now and start building from there. Until then, thank you for watching, and happy building.